Let's talk about the 9 smart money moves that you can make in your 20s. All right, so many of these smart money moves I've come up with just over the years of experience and things that I wish I would have had knowledge and insight about when I was younger in my 20s. Some of these I've also done even before my 20s. For example, we'll be talking about in number 2 smart money move. Some of those things I've already done maybe by the time I was 10, 11 years old. So you'll see here as we go through the list, it might give you some ideas and things to think about as you continue to evolve. Even if you're younger than in your 20s, then by all means, feel free to take charge ahead of time. And if you're a little bit older, it's okay. You're not too late to start. You could always make some changes. So here we go as smart money move number 1, and that is find a mentor or change your social circle. You see, what a lot of people do when it comes to their personal finances is they're kind of around and socializing with people that are maybe a lot lower in value than them. And I'm not talking about just value in terms of financial state. I'm talking about just people who are dragging you down, bringing you down, saying, hey, you can't do this, you can't accomplish this. So I'm talking about those kinds of people. They also say there's a famous saying where if you take kind of your 5 closest friends, you average their income, that's probably going to be your income. So what you want to do is if you're looking to really evolve and grow, start looking to better yourself. Surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with people that grow you, push you, that are better than you. Maybe better at you in business, better at you in, just like if you're going with a workout buddy. If you go with a person who's working out, who's a lot better than you by lifting weights or a faster runner, then you'll obviously get better at running because it'll push you to be better. So changing that social circle will help get you better in those aspects. Money move number 2 that's smart is to start a side hustle or a side business. Now this is something that I've done years before I was even in my 20s. I've started my own business and making side hustles on eBay with selling services and logo design services years before even the whole blogging sphere and YouTube was even around. So I was doing that years before that. And what you could do is if you already have a side hustle, whether that's like, mowing lawns or painting people's houses, if you already got something going, by all means, that's great. And you already have something in line. But if you don't have something on the side and you just have a current regular job, you could start looking at a side hustle, maybe something that you do in the evening or nighttime or building a side business. That's always something useful, especially if you have time right now in your 20s before you have kind of kids. Once you start having kids, you'll have a lot less free time, and that could be more of a problem to get a side hustle or business going and operational. Let's look at smart money move number 3, and that is invest in a Roth IRA. If you look at investments, just overall, what you could do early on, if you go in your 20s, and you go into doing some investments, your growth, if you start out in your 20s, is going to start kind of looking like this over the years, right? But if you start a little bit later in life, okay, it's going to be a lot slower, okay, because that has to catch up. So you'll have much more growth if you start in your 20s, simply because you'll be able to start a lot earlier. So that's a bit of the issue, is that a lot of people, they go in and they start late when they're looking to invest. So start early, even if it's $1,000, $5,000, whatever you have, a couple $100, just put it into kind of a target date retirement fund like on Vanguard, and just keep putting money in it every month or once a year, and just kind of buy it, hold it, set it, and forget it. And that's probably the easiest way to invest. Now it's different if you're kind of doing more investment stuff, which is what I do a lot more on my other channel and my website and blog, which is Traders Fly, where we go in and talk much more about active trading, investing, and that kind of thing. But for the most people, on average, you're just looking to buy an ETF or an index fund and that kind of thing, and just set it, forget it, hold it. You'll be way better off. Okay, let's check out money move number 4, and that is to buy an investment property. Now this won't pan out and work for everybody, because if you don't have the capital or the credit, meaning if you're not there financially in your 20s, you may not be able to do that. But by having an investment property allows you to, number 1, allocate some capital somewhere to invest where houses typically appreciate over time. Not to mention allows you to spruce up that house, to repair it, fix it up, and kind of improve it, remodel it if you can, and then grow that asset value. And another thing is that you'll be able to collect rent and income from that property as well. So if you have an investment property, that's a great thing to go with at the beginning in your 20s. And if you can have 2, 3, 4 properties, duplex, triplex, all those things, it can really ramp up your earnings over your lifetime. All right, let's check out money move number 5, and that is to automate your finances. So just like if you have an investment property or if you have regular investments in the market, anything that you can automate, whether that's depositing or paying things off like credit cards, paying your mortgages off, when you can automate it, it's kind of like, again, set it and forget it mindset. That's usually a lot better for most people. It's just out of your way, it's automated, it's good to go. Check it every couple months or periodically, and it should be good to go. But the automation eliminates that human emotional factor, and that's usually a lot better for most people. All right, let's look at smart money move number 6, and that is invest in yourself and personal growth. Ooh, this is probably one of those things that gets repeated over and over again in the personal growth space, but it's definitely true. Like if you're investing in yourself, in your career, in your space, where maybe you're in high school and you're working at a dairy shop or ice cream shop, and man, you just don't know what to do. What you could do is invest in your career and yourself and maybe get a technical job, like maybe or a trade job, like an electrician or a plumber, and all of a sudden that can ramp up your earnings. Also in your skill sets, let's say you don't know how to post videos on YouTube and you want to make money on YouTube, then again, you could invest in yourself and go ahead and learn these skill sets, buy a course or two, or dig deeper into studying a bit more. Even if you don't purchase any courses or materials, it's totally okay. But investing in yourself allows you to now move forward and proceed forward to really learning about the next steps of what to do, of how to proceed and take some action. So definitely a huge point here if you're looking to grow in the future, right? Because otherwise you'll just be stagnant and stay exactly where you are. All right, let's look at move number 7, and that is to acquire a reliable car that saves you money. Too many people in their 20s or even teenagers, when they start driving, they want a fancy car, sometimes a European car. And a lot of those European cars actually break down, and it's really unfortunate. They have a lot of maintenance, and you almost need to be a mechanic to be able to maintain them. So finding a reliable car that has a very low cost of running it, or a very low cost to operate it over a 5 or 10 year period where the maintenance cost is low, parts are easy to get, gas mileage is great. That's usually fantastic when you're in your 20s. It allows you to save money, put your income or the additional savings that you have into those investments like your IRA, stock market, housing, investment properties, those kinds of things, and coast off of it. Because otherwise, if you spent 50 grand on a car, that 50 grand could have been spent better elsewhere. Anyways, let's look at smart money move number 8, and that is pay off your debt. If you've got debt, especially credit card debt, that can definitely start to accumulate very quickly. The percentages on that, horrible. Student loan debt, again, not quite as bad, but still a problem. So these things can spiral out of control very quickly, and if you're not making payments beyond the minimum, you're kind of always 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's kind of like trying to climb out of a hole that's wet, or you're just trying to get out of the mud that's just kind of wet, and you're just trying to move and move and move. I just can't do it. Can't seem to find your footing. And that's really what happens here with debt. So try and make sure you pay those things off as quick as possible, because it's kind of like, rotten fish in your, on your front doorstep. It stinks after a few days. All right, let's look at smart money move number 9, and that is to insure yourself. Most people don't think about this, but insurance is fairly important. And I'm not just talking about like car insurance, health insurance, life insurance, that kind of stuff. I'm also talking about insuring yourself in other aspects of your life. For example, one big thing that I've done over the years to insure myself is data backup, especially now with a lot of things going online, running businesses online. A lot of that stuff is very important. And if you have everything on one hard drive or everything in one cloud space, that data, if it's lost and you're running a business, you have your old tax filings, you've got a lot of credit card statements maybe there, that kind of thing, passwords, whatever. Make sure you back your stuff up, because especially if you're running a side hustle or business or that kind of thing, and you lose that data, that can be really dramatic, problematic, and have some serious consequences. That goes along the lines of, when you insure yourself, you're also talking about watching your security. That means protecting yourself from fraud, protecting yourself from identity theft, and maybe getting in, 2, 3 different bank accounts. So that way, if one gets locked up or frozen or your identity gets stolen, you still have another one there. So all these things are things to consider and think about. Anyways, I hope that helps. Gives you some takeaways here of some smart money moves you can make in your 20s. Definitely check those things out. You can read about this on our website at MyLittleNestEgg.com, along with getting some great freebies there as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you in one of my next future videos.